Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Saad Sangat Ji, welcome back to the Charitropakhyan series. In the previous episode, we have covered the third Charitr, where the Guru introduced us to the first story that the advisors share, Raja Charitr Singh. In that story, we explore a character who had a reputation, a very pious reputation outside of her doors. But inside closed doors, she had a very questionable character. Now, in this next episode, we'll be going through the next story, which corresponds to Charitr number 4, in which Guru Sahib writes, Dohra Band sa nirpaput pathayo, peipo fir pakar mangayo. The king sends his son to a dungeon, the medieval jail cell, and the next morning upon sunrise, Hanwant Singh, the son, is called to his father, Raja Charitr Singh. Mantri prabhaso bachan uchare, pupat soda saravanjan pare. In the presence of Hanwant Singh and his father, the political advisors of Raja Charitr Singh begin to narrate the next tale, the tale which filled the ears of the king with heavenly immortal nectar. This is a recurring theme that we'll see in the beginning of in most Charitras, is that Raja Charitr Singh will send his son away to the jail at night time. In the morning, when the advisors are ready to say the next tale, he's brought back, right? Presumably maybe because he's brought back to get his sentence, but then the advisors see that the king is not ready to give the right type of justice to his son. So for that reason, maybe he's brought back up from the dungeon so the advisors can share the next tale, and he's sitting there listening, right? And so what's happening now is these advisors, Guru Sahib is saying that Pupat Soda Sravanjan Pare, they're filling the king's ears with Amrit. The word Amrit comes up, right? Pupat Soda Sravanjan Pare, Soda meaning Amrit. They're filling the ears of the king with Amrit, right? So in a sense, you can extract the spiritual analogy behind this, that the advisors are like the Guru, right? The Guru is teaching the Raja who is the shape of the intellect, you can say, right? Who's filling the intellect with pious knowledge, right? That the intellect can use to make a good decision. Because what does the buddhi do, right? The buddhi makes a decision, right? So Raja Charitr Singh here represents the buddhi, whereas the advisors represent the Guru, right? Gurbani, and the words of the Guru, which defer the buddhi from making a mistake. Yeah. So in this scenario, the way that Guru Sahib has illustrated this kind of spiritual analogy is through these stories. Yeah. So now the story will start. Dohra Mahanand Murdar ki huti buriya ek. The narration of this tale begins with an introduction to a male whose name was Mahanand Murdar. And we can look into what this name means. So Mahanand translates to supreme bliss, right? Whilst Murdar, seeming to be a type of attribute, refers to a corpse or a dead body, right? A name which literally translates to blissful corpse, right? Tasorat manat hote Hindu Turk anek. Mahanand had a wife whose name was Gurki. Yeah. A name which translates to scolding. Yeah. She would commit to relationships outside of her marriage with Indians and non-Indians alike, right? With Hindus and Muslims. And her name implies that she would scold her husband all the time. Yeah. From her name, that we can probably surmise that maybe she was called Gurki, or like a person who scolds, because maybe she scolds her husband all the time, right? And we'll kind of extract that from the story as it continues. Dohra ek chashta ko raha bird aap triya jwan. Mahanand, who was the husband of this girl, Gurki, was blind from one eye and was also much older than his wife. So ya par rijat nahi ya ke wah meh pran. He could not live without her, right? Mahanand could not live without his wife, but she, who was his life and breath, was not at all happy with her husband. So Mahanand couldn't live without his wife, right? She was his life and breath. But Gurki, on the other side, she was not at all happy with her husband, right? Possibly because her husband's older, much older than him, and also blind from one eye, right? This unhappiness was to such a level where as soon as Mahanand would leave the house to engage in his work, Gurki would call over a male who was young like her. And on one such day, when her husband was not home, Gurki called over a man that she would spend time with, right? A few moments go by and Mahanand walks home. Hearing that her husband is now home, Gurki, in an effort to prevent the young man from being seen, quickly jumps at Mahanand, embracing him. She then slowly starts to flatter him with sweet words, filling his heart up with happiness, right? And something very similar happened in the previous story as well, where the woman, she Shri Chashmati, when she was caught in the act, basically, right, with her partner, by the older male, right, by the fatter male. What does she do? She starts flattering him up, right? So in the same way, she's caught in the act with this younger man, right? And now she's come. She quickly jumps at Mahanand, embraces him, right, so that he can't see behind her or whatever is happening, right? And she starts to flatter him with sweet words. Now we'll continue on. Dohra kaandon gehre gare chum ek drigalina. Then, to allow her second partner to make the getaway, right, she grabs Mahanand's ears, closes them with her hand, and then kisses his one eye. So she closes his ears, right? Kaandon gehre gare. She grabs Mahanand's ears, and then chum ek drigalin. And then, since Mahanand was already blind for one eye, he only had another eye open, right? She kisses his eye. So now he can't hear because she's grabbing his ears. And then now he can't see completely because she's grabbing that, she's kissing that one eye that he had. Eh chal so chal kya jade hai yaar bida kar deena. Through this chal, through this deception, right, whilst Mahananda was completely impotent, right? He was impotent because he lost all of his sense of seeing and hearing. Gurki bids goodbye to her lover. Yaar bida kar deen. She bids goodbye to her lover, who makes the getaway. And Mahananda was unable to see or hear what happened. So Guru Sahib says, Dohara sravan kach khar ko sune ek chak sake na heer. Mahanand, unable to see or hear the lover of Gurki making a getaway. Paro sada more raha Bichara Mahanand was left in the darkness, unable to realize the reality of the situation. Yeah, he was unable to see that Gurki, his wife, had a lover, who was there this whole time, but he left. He was left into this darkness, right? And the darkness is in two ways, right? One, that you can see physically his eyes his one eye is closed and his ears are closed, right? But two, that he was stuck in the state of ignorance, right? He could not tell because he was overcome with the flattery that she did, right? His ego grew so much that even if he were to hear anything, he would not be able to internally hear it, right? Because there's two types of listening, right? Satsangaji, you have the ears to listen, but sometimes your surti inside is not listening, right? You're not paying attention to what the words are saying, right? So sometimes like that, in this way, she dulled his attention by flattering him, and then his physical indre, gyan indre, his senses, she closed them off. Dohra her roop tav bas pai moman badeo anang chum netra ta telayo atehit chitake sang. Gurki continues to flatter her husband to keep his doubts at bay, saying, when I looked upon you, I could not contain myself. My heart desires grew to come closer to you. For this reason, I grabbed you tight and kissed your eyes, right? So now she's covering up her deception, right? The Maharaj already called it a deception. They already called it a chal. So she played this deception with her husband, but now she's also cleaning that up as well, right? She's backtracking. Dohara Mahanand ehi baat sun fool gyo man maahe. And just like the previous story, Mahanand, hearing these words of his wife, he phul gaya, right? His ego expanded, blinding him further. His ego grew. Yeah. Adhik preeta so kari bhed pehchanyo nahe. In return, he showered so much love to his wife, unable to realize the manipulation that just took place. Yeah. So Satsangaji, here concludes this story, the fourth Charitre, in which we explored how an individual who proved to be like his name and given an attribute that was suggested, the Guru creatively donates the darkness of ignorance as a dead body. Mahanand seemed to enjoy being this dead body, stuck in this false world that didn't exist, essentially a matrix created by someone who had no love for him. Mahanand Murdar. Murdar, remember, means the dead body. Mahanand means complete bliss. He was in bliss being a dead body. He was being in bliss in being stuck in ignorance. The darkness of ignorance, of not knowing, right? He didn't know the truth and he was happy being stuck there. So Satsangaji, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please comment down below what you experienced through this Charitre, what you learned through this Charitre, and if you extracted any other type of Sikhyama that you wish to share, I'll be hanging down below to see your comments and I will see you in the next episode as well. Bol jo kande khima ji, aao fateh bulaiye. Waheguru ji ka khalsa, Waheguru ji ki fateh.